Things just got out of hand.
What's up, guys? I watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness last night, and I didn't write any notes for this. This is kind of off the cuff. I have so much to say, but a lot of it might be spoilery, so I'm going to keep this spoiler free, and then I'm going to watch the movie again on Tuesday and make another video that has a spoiler review. First thing I want to talk about is some of the acting in this movie. I want to start out strong. I thought Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange is always a fun time. He does a pretty good job playing that character, and I really enjoyed his performance. Elizabeth Olsen as well. She did a great job as always. I always feel like she is a great actress, and in this movie, her acting was pretty good. I liked her performance. It brought a lot to the role that she had to play. America Chavez was fine. I thought, as a new character, as a new actress, as someone I haven't seen before, I thought she did a fine job. I don't think she did amazing or bad. I think I need to see more of her before I make an informed opinion. But from what I saw, I thought she did a pretty good job. I thought she played her character well, and I'm excited to see her in other projects. Another thing I want to talk about right off the bat is that Sam Raimi's direction, for the most part, is pretty good. I thought a lot of his style kind of popped up throughout the film. While it worked in a lot of places, I feel like it didn't work in some. But it was nice seeing him direct. It's a different feel from other Marvel movies. Although I don't think it quite breaks out of the mold. I feel like a lot of people were expecting this to be Sam Raimi, different from MCU, but it feels like MCU with hints of Sam Raimi, which I think can be to the detriment of this film a little bit, but I really liked seeing him direct, and his style is definitely there. Where the movie suffers for me is the writing, which I'll get to, but I just wanted to point out a few other things that I really enjoyed. Some of the action set pieces were really cool. I really liked some of the locations, and some of the fights were really interesting, and I really liked that. And it had some cool imagery here and there, and all right, I have to talk about it. All right. I was very disappointed with this movie at the end of it. I was very disappointed. I was expecting a lot more, and I think part of my dislike for this movie right now is that I had my expectations too high. But I have to talk about, one thing I'll talk about now is the writing, which I thought was what suffered the most. I feel like this movie had multiple times where there's characters just together, and they spout the most boring exposition to you, and in a very uninteresting way. All movies have exposition. All Marvel movies have had this problem to an extent where they have to tell you stuff and explain things to you very quickly because these are new characters, these are new problems, and we need to tell you about it. I just feel like this movie didn't do it well. Instead of it sort of feeling at least a little bit organic, it literally just felt like bad dialogue, where they're oh, you need to know this, audience, so we're going to tell you in these few lines so that everything makes sense. And that's fine. I don't think anyone's going to cry about it. It's just, for me, I wasn't down with that, and I was it took me out a little bit. The other thing I think hurt the film a lot, and I don't know if it was writing specifically or if they actually cut things out of the film, but the film feels very rushed, and it feels like there's a lot missing from the movie. There's multiple characters that I feel needed to be more fleshed out, and their motivations not explained, but just sort of developed. I feel like Wanda's character from the end of WandaVision to now are two very different characters. They gave us a hint of Wanda's character in WandaVision, but a hint isn't enough for us to go from that to what happens in this movie. And I just don't think I bought it at all until second act. And that's a bit too late for me to get that. You can't, things happen, the first act moves so quickly. It's literally location, and set piece, action. And you're whoa, this is moving so fast. And they don't develop anything in this first act, I feel like. There's just so much that they could have explored that would have made me care about the characters more. Like America Chavez for the first act, I didn't care about at all. And I found her a little bit annoying, not because of the actress or anything, just because she's this random girl that, besides like the opening scene, you know nothing about. And Doctor Strange just blindly trusts her. And I was like, I don't know about that one, man. And then as the movie goes on and you get more time and you're like, okay, I like this a little bit more. People have been saying that this movie is like has heart, and I don't disagree. I just don't think it pulls it off well enough because I don't get enough time with the characters. I need more. It's a multiverse movie that is under 2 hours when you subtract credits, and that's abysmal. I've read places that there was a longer cut and it got cut down. I don't know how true that is. I haven't followed anything about this movie until it's released because I wanted to go in blind. And I was just very disappointed. And it sucks that this happened. And you can take what I say with some sort of grain of salt. Last time I checked the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, it was very, very positive. It had like 500 verified audience reviews with an average of 4.4 out of 5, which left it at a 90%. So maybe they're seeing something that I didn't. I am going to rewatch this movie again to formulate more thoughts, but like as of now, it was just disappointing. There's multiple times where I feel like things just kind of happen. It's a movie where things just happen. And not in a good way or organic way. It just kind of feels like, oh, we need this to happen now. Can't you do this? And the person's like, I can do this. And then they do it. And I'm like, this has never happened before. Why are you able to do this? Or there's like a character that I was like, so you have no control over this power and now you just do? Like, you need more. You need more development of things. Wanda's character is so interesting in this film, but I don't buy her character for the entirety of the first act. I think I already said that, but that's a big problem. That's a glaring flaw. And I don't think it's Sam Raimi's fault. I just feel like things are cut out. It feels like things are cut out. This movie should have been like half an hour to 45 minutes longer. Even if it was an hour longer, I think it would have worked well. Don't expect this to explore the multiverse like at all, by the way. Like, it's called Multiverse of Madness. They go to 2 other universes. And they mean almost nothing, I feel like, to this film. If people argue that they're very important, I'm not going to say they're wrong. But I also feel like this movie could have easily been a film that took place in one universe. And that's how little I feel like the other universes play a part in this film. Like, it feels like places to go see other Doctor Stranges and these other characters that people might want to see. And that's good and all, but I don't think it affects the plot as much as it should. And I feel like as a movie called Multiverse of Madness, there should be more madness, but it just made me mad. I think I liked the first Doctor Strange not even marginally more, exponentially more. I thought it had cooler visuals, better visuals, and I thought it was just, I had more fun with it. And this film should have been that. It should have been more fun, I feel like. Like, it's a fun film now. And when you hear that, you're like, oh, but isn't this more of like a horror movie? Shouldn't it not be fun? No, this is not a horror movie. It's the closest thing we might get to a horror movie. There's like horror elements here and there, but it's not scary. And there might be like a couple jump scares, but like they don't double down on the horror at all, which I wish they would have, because it would have made it more interesting, but they didn't. And it's not even like this film, it's not even like, oh, Disney doesn't want to scare children. This has some brutal kills in it, and I won't describe where they are or when they happen, but they just happen. And I'm like, wasn't expecting that to happen. They're still PG-13, but it's probably some of the most brutal kills we've seen in an MCU movie. We've seen things like it, but not to like, not so sudden and not so graphic, I guess I can say. Don't expect it to be like The Boys or anything. It's not like crazy. It's still PG-13, but I don't think kids like that. I feel like parents won't want to take their kids to this movie after watching it, just because I don't think it's as kid friendly as it can as like other Marvel films, which isn't a bad thing. But you're already not kid friendly. Why don't you double down on the horror elements and make it legitimately scary? But it wasn't scary. I felt some of the scares were goofy sometimes. Maybe that's just me, and maybe other people resonate with it more. So again, take that with a grain of salt. But if you're gonna do horror, do horror. Let Sam Raimi do his thing. There's moments where I'm like, yes, this is Sam Raimi doing his thing. Then the next moment, I'm like, I feel like you're pulling him back. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he had full creative control over this. And if that's the case, I still don't think it works that well. And this movie has such an uneven tone. It like I say, it's a somewhat fun movie. It tries to be funny the whole time. So many people complain about how Marvel movies are like too humorous, and there's like all these emotional moments or heavy moments that are ruined by jokes. And this movie takes that to like the 11th degree, where you have these serious and dark moments, but they're constantly trying to weave these jokes in. But I feel like none of them landed. None of them. The audience was silent for this movie. Nobody was laughing. There was a few chuckles here and there. I chuckled a couple times, but like there's a lot of humor in this movie and no one was laughing. I had a silent theater. So maybe it was just my theater. Again, I want to give this movie the benefit of the doubt and just say it was my experience, because this is a big Marvel movie. This is Multiverse of Madness. This is like the next chapter in Wanda and Doctor Strange's stories. But I just feel like it didn't feel like that. Instead of feeling like the next big part of the MCU, it feels like a Doctor Strange sequel, but it has sequelitis and it doesn't quite live up to what Doctor Strange can be. Who knows? I don't know. I remember people enjoying Doctor Strange. I don't know if that's still the consensus. I still really liked the Doctor Strange movie. This movie just was so disappointing for me. And I don't know if it'll be disappointing for you. I hope it isn't. But just go in with lowered expectations. That way you won't be like me and come out with being mad. Don't expect as much as you might want there to be. I know this is basically, my review is basically bashing this movie, and I don't want it to be like that. I enjoyed the movie. I am going to see it again. There was a lot of elements I really liked. This is sort of scatterbrained. I might have a more, when I do my spoiler review, I might be more like less scatterbrained and I don't know, just more organized. But as of right now, I just needed to like rant and get this off my chest. I was really excited for this movie. Like, it's following up Spider-Man. This is after Spider-Man, and Spider-Man had so many cool multiverse elements to it, bringing in all these characters, and it all took place in one world. And I felt like it did multiverse more interestingly than Multiverse of Madness. One thing that I also noticed, not a spoiler per se, this isn't a spoiler, but when you watch this movie and you look at a character's motivations, it reminds me a lot of Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse. I didn't really realize it until I was ranting to my girlfriend about it, and she was like, isn't that just Kingpin from Spider-Verse? And I was like, you know what? It is just Kingpin from Spider-Verse. And I liked Spider-Verse more than this film, which isn't hard because that's a very amazing movie, but just, it also ended super abruptly. Like, it just kind of ends. Like, I don't think the ending is as satisfying as it should be. I felt like there's more. There should be more. There needs to be more development of things that happen in this movie. That's my main critique. There just needs to be more development, more movie to allow things to breathe and for allow that events to happen to feel like they just don't happen, but that there's like lead up to them. There's like, there needs to be more setups to the payoffs. There's like, it just feels rushed and like there's so much missing. And that's my review. I watched it yesterday. This is my initial thoughts. Let me know what you think. If you've watched the movie and if you loved it, let me know. I hope you love this. I wish I did. If you agree with me, disagree with me, let me know. Maybe we can have a conversation. I just couldn't vibe with this movie as much as I wanted to. I'm going to be generous. And for my early review, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. And we'll see where it goes. I'm going to, hopefully, when I watch it a second time, I come out feeling better about it, but as of right now, that's my initial thoughts. That's how I felt about it. I wish it was better. I know people have been having a good time with it, and if you have a good time with it, I'm happy for you. But for me, it wasn't great, and I went out very disappointed, and I was hoping for so much more. But do know you will get some Raimi. If you're looking for Raimi direction, the opening action scene, not the opening action scene, but there's like in the beginning there's like a small action scene that I think there's like parts in the trailer, but it's in like a city, and it reminded me of Spider-Man, and I was like, this is a good note to start on. And then the first act was like my least favorite act, but there is Raimi direction in here, and if you're looking for that, it's there. Just know that it might not be as prevalent throughout the film just because it is still a Marvel film and it doesn't actually feel any different from other Marvel films. So take that as you will. If you disagree with me again, let me know. But that's about it. See you guys.